So it now looks likely that Trent Alexander-Arnold will leave Liverpool at the end of the season. And while that transfer rumour is a fascinating story in its own right, I'm far more intrigued by what will likely unfold at Liverpool over the course of the summer. Now, Liverpool have been linked with a number of players to directly replace Alexander-Arnold in the summer, such as Bayer Leverkusen's Jeremie Frimpong. But finding a like-for-like replacement for the England international strikes me as an impossible task. For example, while Alexander-Arnold creates a number of chances for Liverpool due to his fantastic range of passing, Frimpong is a player who relies on his speed and his dribbling to create chances in the final third for Leverkusen. So even the most touted potential replacement for the England international is nothing like him and would likely be a terrible fit in Arne Slot's team next season. As such, I actually think Dutch tactician would be better placed using the departure of Alexander-Arnold as an opportunity to rebuild his Liverpool team in his own image. And instead of signing another world-class right-back, I think Slot would be better wiping his tactics board clean and making better use of the players in his squad to replace Alexander-Arnold without actually replacing Alexander-Arnold. And I'm going to try and explain what I mean by that. First things first, Liverpool have to address the right-back position, but fortunately for the Anfield club, they already have an outstanding candidate in Connor Bradley. Long considered an understudy to Alexander-Arnold, Bradley is perhaps already a better all-round fullback than his Liverpool teammate. So far this season, he's averaged more tackles per game, won a graded percentage of those tackles per game, and blocks on average more than twice as many passes than Alexander-Arnold in each and every match. And even his goals and assists per Premier League game, which stand at 0.25 per 90, isn't that far off the England international. But for Liverpool to replace the playmaking aspect of Alexander-Arnold's game next season, they'll have to get far more out of that midfield trio. So far this season, Alexander-Arnold is second to Mohamed Salah in key passes, assists and passes into the box. And in each and every instance, he has covered up for a hard-working but altogether uncreative midfield trio. And that was going to have to change next season. When we rank every central midfielder in the Premier League by total key passes made this season, Liverpool only have 2 in the top 20, and Dominic Szoboszlai, who sits above all other Liverpool midfielders, still comes in behind Kevin De Bruyne, even though the Manchester City star has started just 12 league games this season. In total, Slot's midfield has only directly set up 11 of Liverpool's 6-9 goals in the league this season. That has to change next season, and luckily for the Anfield club, their midfield is crammed full of playmaking potential. For example, when we consider 2 key midfielders in Szoboszlai and Ryan Gravenberch, and look back at their stats over the last 5 seasons, we can clearly see 2 players that know how to thread a through ball into the box. Since moving from RB Leipzig to Liverpool, Szoboszlai's assists per 90 have dropped by a staggering 69%. And while Gravenberch had a horrid time at Bayern Munich, his assists per 90 at Ajax were almost 3 times higher per game than that he's averaged at Liverpool this season. And if Slot can actually get either, or perhaps even both of these midfielders back into their old playmaking routines, then they could easily compensate for Alexander-Arnold's passes into the opposing box. Another untapped source of assist in this Liverpool team is Curtis Jones. The 24-year-old talent has the highest average for assists per 90 among all midfielders in Slot's team this season, with an impressive figure of 0.23 per 90, which is actually very close to Alexander-Arnold's own return. But because Slot wants to keep his midfield industrious and full of water carriers, Jones has rarely featured for the Anfield club, starting just 13 league games this season. In a sense, Slot has continued Jurgen Klopp's tactics at Liverpool, where he has hard-working ball winners in the middle of the park and relies on attacking fullbacks and outstanding wingers to create goals for them in each and every game. But this isn't Klopp's Liverpool anymore, and Slot now has an opportunity to pump some real creativity into the middle of the pitch. This shift in tactics could also help Liverpool tackle more issues that could become major problems next season. Alongside Alexander-Arnold, Slot's team are still heavily reliant on the aforementioned wide players Andy Robertson and Mohamed Salah. It remains to be seen whether Salah will even be at the club next season, and whether at the age of 32, if he can provide another remarkable season like the one we've seen this time around. And while Andy Robertson is undoubtedly an Anfield hero, his productivity in the final third has completely gone off a cliff this season as he now ventures into his mid-30s. So whether Liverpool actually go out and spend 50 or 60 million euros on a new right back remains to be seen. Only Slaw and his backroom staff will know if Bradley is ready to step in and become a starter for the Anfield club, and whether indeed this squad can accommodate Alexander-Arnold without adding any new players to it. But either way, it'll be really interesting to see how the Dutch manager tackles this very big problem on his plate, having made very few changes to the squad that he inherited from Klopp this season. Slot knew that he wouldn't be able to ride Klopp's coattails forever, and this summer may now finally be the time for him to make some big calls about the future of his Liverpool team.